Well, hello and welcome back to the Whiskey Friend with me, Alan. We're back today with another brand new video, and in today's video we're changing it up a little bit, guys. I'm going back to some American bourbons. I've just finished a nice little Glenfarclas series. I thought it's time that I went back to do a little bourbon comparison, just to keep my bourbon journey going. But just before I get into the bourbon, guys, just a quick friendly reminder from me to thee. If you're watching for the first time, great. If you're a returning viewer but you haven't quite hit that subscribe button yet, guys, you may want to consider hitting that button down below. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and you'll be helping the channel massively on its way to the magical 1K. So now the housekeeping's out of the way, let's get on with the bourbon. Today, guys, I'm going to do a little bourbon comparison, two high strength bourbons. An old favourite of mine, I'm going to do Elijah Craig small batch barrel proof. This is the B519. Pretty sure the B is the second bottling of the year, the 5 is for May, and the year is 19. I think that's right. So I'll pour some of this in a minute, let it open up, and I'm going to compare that today against a younger whiskey. This Elijah Craig's a 12-year-old Elijah Craig, so I'm going to compare it against, might be a wee bit unfair, but I'm going to go with something that's just come out in America recently, which is the St. Cloud Kentucky Bourbon. This is batch 1. Both these samples have been kindly sent to me by you know who, Mr. Jerry Kersey. So thanks again for these, Jerry. Don't know what I'd do, I would never get to try half of these bourbons without you, my friend. Let's keep it going. This one is bottled in March 2019, and it's out of Jerry's personal bottle, which was 201 out of 3,000. So there's 3,000 bottles of this. It's a young bourbon, it's under 4 years old, but again, this is coming in at a whopping 120 proof. The Elijah Craig one, that's coming in just slightly above 122.2 proof. 61.1 ABV for those who are on this side of the pond, the UK side or the European side. So now that I let these open up, guys, I just crack on a little bit. My bourbon journey's been going fantastic. Just a quick one while these are opening up, guys. Normally I do predominantly single malt whiskey reviews, but recently I did a little run of bourbon reviews, and when I delved into the analytics on YouTube, it threw up something quite interesting. There seems to be guys who only seem to like their Scotch whiskey and guys who seem to like their bourbon whiskey. So the whole point of me doing the bourbons on the channel was to try and break that barrier and get some of the guys who are single malt whiskey drinkers to maybe sample some bourbons, and maybe some bourbon drinkers who are not quite into the single malt whiskies. So hopefully these reviews can help you get there. I think if you're a malt whiskey drinker, then the Elijah Craig is probably somewhere great to start. That's where I started my journey. It was the very first bourbon I ever did, and to be fair, it was one of the first reviews I ever did. So if you want to go back and check the archives, I'll probably pop a link above to let you go back and watch that. That was back in the early days of my reviewing. But anyway, so getting on to these bourbons, I'm going to nose them, taste them, compare them, possibly tell you which one I prefer out of the two, and let's crack on. Get on with it. So Elijah Craig, barrel proof. Wow, that's, yeah. Listen, I could spot this a mile away, Elijah Craig. I could do this blind anywhere. But it's that super sweet nose. This one compared to some of the others, as you can see, I've went through a few bottles of Elijah Craig. This is the 138.8 proof, so this is a little bit higher. And I actually finished another one here, which I'm looking to maybe save up some bottles to do a Roy styled review video. So that may come sooner as well. Hope you don't mind, Roy. This one's 136 proof, so they're both higher than this one. This one on the nose straight away, it's still super sweet. But one thing I'm not picking up is that high alcohol that I picked up on the nose of the others. This seems a little bit softer on the nose. It's super sweet. Don't get me wrong, this is a great nose, this, guys. Wonderful stuff. Getting that typical brown sugar note. This one, the difference again is a little bit that I haven't picked up in some of the. This seems a little bit nuttier than the other ones. Maybe some almonds, maybe some sweet peanuts. But the other thing that's really prominent on this is a massive big cinnamon note in this. So it's a big cinnamon spice note. Wow, wow, wow. But this does smell softer on the nose compared to some of the other ECPBs that I have. ECBP, yeah, I think I got that right. There's real nice oak note. Some nice wood with this. Say it's 12 years old. And lots of vanilla and caramel. Beautiful, beautiful nose. Let's compare that to the St. Cloud. So the St. Cloud, say this was, it's a Kentucky bourbon, bottled in 2019. I say this is batch 1, and this is matured in French oak barrels. Wow, wow, this is wonderful on the nose as well, guys. This is really, this is super sweet as well. This is quite interesting, this. Wow. And again on this one, guys, the first thing that hits me on this is it's sweet, it's fruity, but there's a real big cinnamon note in this one as well. And a little bit of corn just behind it. So it's really cinnamon, really spicy on the nose. It actually smells as if this is going to be quite rich. Now I'm picking up some butterscotch, some dark fruits, plums, raisins. Wow, wow, wow. This is really engaging on the nose, guys. They're both fantastic noses. If the palates live up, oh, almost went there. If the palates live up to the nose, these are both going to be fantastic. Yeah, wow. Okay, let's try the palate of the Elijah Craig B519. Slanch. As we all know by now, on the first sip of that, usually the first thing that comes out of people's mouths, and this is no different. This is wow. It's super sweet. It's intense. It's powerful. But as I say, as on the nose, it tastes a little bit softer than the other higher ABV ones. But it doesn't detract it in any way, because if you like your higher ones and you're used to popping a little bit of water in it, this one you don't need to do that. So this is just happy. I'd be happy just to drink this as it is, no water, not necessary. But again, like the others, it's full flavoured. All the things that are on the nose, the nuts, it's nutty. It's definitely a kind of peanut, sweet peanut, maybe an almond. It is spicy, as usual. It's super sweet, lots of brown sugars, lots of caramel, touch of vanilla. It's very mouth coating, and it's mouth watering. And it just, as it goes through the development, picking up a little bit of the oaky notes are there in the background, and there's some chocolate. So I'm picking up a little bit of chocolate towards the end of the development, heading into the finish. But again, it's wonderful stuff. Super sweet, super intense, super powerful, just super whiskey. Okay, let's see how the other one does. St. Cloud. So just before I have a taste of the St. Cloud, I'll just have a little sip of water, cleanse my palate. So, St. Cloud on the palate, slanch. Colour wise, they're both fantastic. Real amber colour. There's not a lot of colour difference between both of these. They look very, very similar. If anything, I think the St. Cloud's just a little bit darker. But on the palate, wow. On the first initial taste of these guys, they are very, very different. This tastes quite unusual. I don't think I've tasted a bourbon like this before. It's oaky, it's dry, it's intense, it's powerful. It definitely lets you know that it's 120 proof. But again, for that 120 proof, it's ridiculously easy to drink. I know when I did my Glenfarclas reviews, I came across a dangerous dram. This possibly could be just as dangerous. Let me have another little sip of this. See, this is my first try of this. Really, really unusual. So straight up front, guys, it's woody, it's spicy. Yeah, oaky. But as it develops, there's a big, big cinnamon note. So it's real, real spicy. It's rich, it's deep, it's dense, it's thick. It's mouth-watering, it's mouth-coating. And then as it develops, it comes into the... You can, initially on the first sip, you can get that corn as well. So there's a real corn note. You can definitely pick up the corn in it. But as it's spicier, as it's developing, it becomes much more fruitier. Some dark fruits, some plums, some raisins, some figs, maybe some dark cherries. It's heavy. Real, real nice. Let's try another bit of the Elijah Craig. I just want to really get a good comparison with these. On that next sip, even better. It's just typical Elijah Craig. It's wonderful, it's powerful, it's intense, it's got all that sweetness, it's everything you'd want in a bourbon, and it's still getting stronger, and the intensity's building and building. This for me is a super, as I say, it was one of the first bourbons that I ever tried. Everyone kept telling me it would be difficult to go back to anything else after trying this, but this one never lets me down. But I've had some really, really interesting bourbons since. This one is really interesting. Wow, I need to try it again. Listen, you Scotch guys, if you're adamant you don't want to try a bourbon, guys, you're missing lots. But anyway, pure whiskey. Let's try this again. Wow. You can tell it's younger. I think it's just under 4 years, this. I'd love to have tried this with an extra couple of years. I think this would be phenomenal. I think the Elijah Craig has the edge at the minute because it has the 12-year-old age statement on them. I think this, if this lay for 12 years, and I think this would be outstanding. It'd be up there with this Elijah Craig. At the minute it's probably a bit young. Don't get me wrong, it's still really, really interesting. Those French oak barrels have given it a little bit of a twist. It's beautifully balanced for under a 4-year-old. See, the nose is wonderful, the palate's great. The only thing that lets down the St. Cloud is the finish. I think it's a real short finish, and I think that's down to the age. I think it drops off very quickly. As you're sipping it, it's got lots of intensity, it's got lots and lots of flavour. It's beautifully balanced, but the nose is great, the palate's great, but for me the bit that lets it down possibly is the finish. It's too quick. I do know that Jo from the Party Source reviews did this, and I watched that live stream while he did it, and he didn't like it. So I did tell him when I reviewed it I would give him my opinions on it. I do like it, Jo, but I'd love to see it a bit older. The Elijah Craig for me just is more all round balanced. It's got the great nose, great palate, and it's a super long finish. On the finish of just do the finish of the Elijah Craig. Wow. It's long, it's lingering, it's super spicy, it's really nutty, and they've got that chocolate and that sweet oak on the end. It's spicy all the way through it, so it's super whiskey. Let's do a little bit, just double check the finish on this one. I don't want to be too hasty. Plus, I don't want to leave any of the last, so cheers on this. This is going to be intense. Wow. This St. Cloud is wonderful all the way up to the finish. It's thick, it's intense, it's powerful. You know it's 120. It's got lots of flavour. It's interesting. The French oak barrels make it interesting. Super. I'd love to see if they're going to continue. I don't know who makes it, don't know where it comes from. But I'd love to see if they go on with it and leave it and make it a bit older. 6, 7, 8. If it gets to 12, then I think it'll be outstanding. It's a great whisky at the minute. It'd be interesting to see. I think batch 2 is coming out pretty soon, a little bit later in the year. Be interesting to see how that is. I'm sure Jerry will keep me updated with that. Preference, guys. Although the St. Cloud is wonderful, it's young, it's interesting, the Elijah Craig for me is super. It's just that little bit superior. With the extra age. It's Elijah Craig, I've had it before. Difference with this one, I might even compare this to some of the other ones I've had. The other ones are the higher ABV, so they're a little bit more punchy. This is a little bit softer. Doesn't take anything away with it, all the flavours there. It's just, there's no need to add any water, as I said earlier. So my comparison would be Elijah Craig would, if I was to score both of these, then my Elijah Craig would be 91, and I'd score the St. Cloud possibly as an 88 out of 100. Sorry Jerry, I know you love the St. Cloud, just got a preference to the Elijah Craig, but both super drams. I'm happy enough to have done them. So that's those comparisons. Just a little update, guys. I'm going to be going on holiday pretty soon, so I'm going to take a couple of weeks off, recharge my batteries. I've been drinking a lot of whiskey lately. I'm going to go and catch up with some sun, have a bit of relaxation with the family. So I'm going to take a couple of weeks off. Not sure when I'll get back, probably towards the end of September. But in that time I'll really be recharged and I'll be ready to go again. I hope you won't miss me by then. My plan when I do come back, I want to get involved a little bit more on the American side of the pond and the Canadian side. I know I've got lots of viewers in Canada and lots of viewers in America. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to try and do maybe a bi-weekly live stream, and I'm going to try and do it in the American side of the time zone. I probably will do the other bi-weekly one. I'll probably do one in the European time zone, and that may concentrate on Scotch whisky and then drop a little bit of bourbon into that, and then I may do the American ones. I'll concentrate on the bourbon and maybe drop some Scotch into those. So that's my plan, guys. I'm not too sure how they're going to, what sort of time I'm going to do it, what day I'm going to do it. I'll need to check out when's possible to do it, but I'm really looking forward to getting involved more with the bourbon side, but that means I might have to go into America and in Canada to get involved in that, and I'm going to continue with my Scotch journey anyway, so that will just continue as the way we are in the UK at the minute and in Europe. So that's pretty much me, guys. So I'm Alan, I'm the Whiskey Friend. If you've liked it, please give me the thumbs up. If you've not quite hit that subscribe button, then you know what to do. It's just down below. As I said earlier, it's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and you're helping the channel massively on its way to the magical 1K. And until next time, guys, I'm Alan. See you soon.